Hold up. Black excellence, I be rapping it differently. Say how a coast, tell them how you would this rapping thing. Underrated from Chocolate City with all the flavor. My bitches ball like I'm Q McCarty, annihilate them. Black excellence, we depart from the negative, boy. Black denim that keep a knot like a pessimist, boy. Black niggas hate black niggas, that's evident. So keep black windows with mask niggas that never miss, boy.
Alright. Okay. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to the Kurra's Cure
featuring Lailauni.
And today we have a special guest, Tyron. And we're going to be talking about femininity versus masculinity. So thanks for joining us. And if you'll tell the viewers just a little bit about you.
My name is Tyron Cooper. I'm a junior at UNCG. I'm pursuing a major in supply chain management and also have a minors in information systems.
Alright, good stuff. Awesome thing. Well, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
So like I said, we're talking about how the feminism movement, how some men think that the feminism movement attacks men and masculinity. So I just wanted you to start off like for the benefit of our viewers, like defining what you think masculinity is.
Okay, so I believe that masculinity is basically, I feel like as men we have a code that's been going down since men have been around, and it's all about, you know, providing, and it's all about protection of oneself first of all, and protection of others, and provisions for oneself as well, and provisions of others. So I just feel like masculinity is sort of, in my mind, masculinity is sort of a quest to be the alpha male. Like, always being an alpha male is the goal of masculinity. And I feel like with femininity, it's kind of like, you have to realize that each thing, like, each sort of concept has a, you know, a balance in energy. So there's femininity and there's also masculinity. So looking at some of the things of femininity, of course they're not going to agree with masculine ideas, but you have to realize that it's just a different energy and it's sort of the different side of the spectrum. So with the feminist movement, I just believe that since women have been suppressed for so long, it's kind of like, you know, about women now, which is cool. Like, I agree you guys have been, you know, suppressed for a while and this is a patriarchy, but I just feel like there's a way to achieve equality and not put men down, I'm sorry. You know, kind of like respect us for, you know, the roles that we have.
So you feel that because, I mean, the feminism movement, well, feminism, I just want to say, we say feminism, but feminism isn't for us, so we mean, you know, when we say feminism, yeah, we mean womanism. So womanism, like, entails all, and it's more about pushing us to be equal. So by us trying to elevate ourselves, don't let me put words in your mouth, but you feel like we are pushing up down. By elevating ourselves, we're pushing men down.
I just feel like the feminist movement has kind of like viewed males as expendable and discardable, and it's kind of like I was saying earlier with that energy, everything needs to balance in energy. So if you're viewing males as expendable and discardable, that's, you know, suppressing masculinity right there.
Okay, alright. So, I mean, you said it's all about being the alpha male, so do you think that you cannot, I mean, so is dominance a part of being masculine? Like, can you be a male that isn't, it's like dominant, you're more of like a beta male? Does that make you less masculine?
Repeat the question. What do you?
Okay, so I mean, so when you were defining masculinity, you said it's all about being like an alpha male. I guess so. My question is if me as a man, I'm not really into taking a much more dominant. I guess so. The question is like, does dominance and masculinity correlate, and then does me being a beta male make me less masculine?
Well, I feel like dominance is sort of, you know, associated with masculinity. And that's being referred to as toxic now, that's where I see the attack on masculinity. But that's just, in my opinion, you know, there's also different, you know, opinions of masculinity and for different people. So, and it kind of goes like how you're raised. Like, I believe that white masculinity is different than black masculinity. But I also believe there's different time periods in a man's life. Like, when you're a boy, it's kind of like, oh, who, you know, has the most wrestling toys or something like that. When you're a teenager, it's about, you know, who is the most athletic, who can lift the most and stuff like that. And then by the time where you're a man, it's kind of like, you know, who can provide the most for their family or bring home the most money and stuff like that. So it kind of changes over, you know, time and of course of a man's life. But at the end of the day, it's kind of, you know, associated with dominance.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So I will say, okay, so there is a difference between the feminist movement and the womanist. So I do think that in a lot of ways the feminist movement does kind of attack y'all. I had to do some research on that because with them it's like they're more concerned about the power, you know what I mean? But with womanism, it's a little different because it is kind of a way of feminism, but it's more tailored to people of color. But it also includes men too. Like it speaks about men and women working together in a society. So I don't think womanism and what they stand for actually attack y'all, but I will agree that the feminist movement, there are a lot of extremists out there that look for power and trying to be better than the man. But also, I do kind of have to question you because you said something about the dominance, like being dominant is kind of a correlation to being masculine. But when you talk about dominance, it means being like how you said the alpha man, like the one on top. So how can a man be dominant but still be equal to a woman? Wouldn't that still make him on top of her in a sense? And I think that's why people are calling it toxic, because that mentality of like the man has to be the one in power, the man has to be the one on top. He's the alpha man, and you bring a woman around, it's like he's still in power of her. So there's no way for them to be equal if the man has to be dominant. Do you get what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. I believe so. Like masculinity, as far as it pertains to the individual male, is having control of his life. So with femininity, it's kind of like, oh, you're trying to like tell a man so and so, and to a man that's you know, trying to be that alpha male, it's kind of like, oh, you're trying to like step in on my dominance. You know what I'm saying? So, and then just like with the feminist movement, I believe that like there's kind of like a few double standards, and there's a lot of double standards with men and women. Don't get me wrong, but like. Just like an example that I thought of, like with Amber Rose and the whole slut walk thing, it's kind of like y'all like look at us bad for like, you know, sexual promiscuity and stuff like that, but you're encouraging it, and it's kind of like you're trying to achieve equality. You're trying to achieve equality, but like what you're promoting is not like healthy. Like it's not healthy to be out here like that. So I mean,
okay.
So my thoughts is first of all, her slut walk isn't encouraging or promoting being the slut. Her slut walk is about that I shouldn't be attacked for the type of clothes that I have on. Like just because I'm walking down the street in like a short skirt and crop top doesn't mean that like you can have your way with me type thing. So like it was just a correction on that. Like that's what her slut walk is about. And I think women are scrutinized just as much as not even like women are scrutinized more for their promiscuity more than men. So I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and say that like there isn't a double standard, but I think like her whole slut walk is to like bring it's supposed to empower women. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, I guess my perception was skewed on. I just thought that it was kind of like encouraging like sexual freedom, which is cool. But I mean,
yeah.
What message are you sending out by saying that? Especially to like young girls that are watching that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if to go hard. I'm just trying to say. I mean, so you're saying like, so what message is it sending out to girls? So I mean, I think like you said, like it's talking about sexual freedom, and then it's bringing knowledge to like, you know, like that you could like women can like walk down the street and like men can't just attack us. But then it's just like, I mean, like the fact that you think it's like, what message are you sending to young women? I mean, it's the same thing as like we talked about like men. Like we're sending the message to young women at a young age that it's okay to be okay in like your sexuality, but like you're saying like it almost sounds like we shouldn't teach them to be okay in their sexuality because men are the way men are.
I'm not saying okay, like I'm just saying that like all the things that are associated with like sex and stuff like that are not really positive. So like my perception on it was wrong. You corrected me on that, but that's just the perception that I had of it. So
okay, yeah. I mean, that's good. I want to go back to what you said about how white masculinity and black masculinity are different, because I think that was like a good point that you raised when we talk about masculinity, because I mean, obviously like the races are different. So like so do you want to like tell more about that? So like when I think about white masculinity, it's almost like white collar, blue collar kind of, and then like yeah, so like, and then when I think of black masculinity, honestly, I'm not even about to throw shade, but I just think of like
so
it is
all buff.
Yeah, just like buff, like wife beater, like on the corner, like that. I just feel like that's like a black man's way of showing like masculinity. It's like, you know, like who's like get off my corner like this. Like, and I'm not trying to do like stereotypes, but I just think like that's how it is in the black community. Like who has the most like change, most bands, like you know what I'm saying? And then like white masculinity, like I don't know, is it about having kids? I don't know. I mean,
power.
Yeah, it is like power, like you know, like money. It's almost like it's money is the dominance, and then like for black people.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, you're fine, because I was just kind of.
I believe that like it goes back to the alpha male thing. Like provision is one of the traits of alpha male, at least to me. So I feel like white people, we all know that white people have most of the resources. So for them, you know, money ain't a thing. They got the money, and 9 times out of 10, well, I ain't gonna say 9 times out of 10, but a lot of the women, I hate to say it, but like a lot of the women of color, like sometimes go after white men for money, and you know, it's kind of like white men had the resources, and you know, black men, we don't really have the resources like that. So it's kind of like we're seeking to establish our dominance in another way. So I feel like white men, they don't necessarily always have to go around, you know, proving themselves because they have the resources, but black people in general, we're always looked down on. So it's kind of like the disrespect there, and I feel like that's another trait of masculinity. Going back to defining that, disrespect, you know, will lead to retaliation, and I believe, like that's something that a lot of like the toxic masculinity is trying to take away. And I just feel like as an alpha man, like one of the traits of that is being able to defend yourself. So like I know like bullying is associated with like toxic masculinity. You want to talk more on that?
Yeah, I mean, so I think, can someone define toxic masculinity for me? So you have like masculinity and then toxic masculinity. So like masculinity is like about you being like the alpha male, and then like toxic masculinity is like bullying your way to be a toxic or to be a man.
I think.
Want to define toxic?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not. Y'all know.
Because like before I say it, so like when I think toxic masculinity, it's almost like. It's almost like you come in and like because I was at work all day, like I expect like my house to be clean, like food on the table, like that's toxic masculinity. And then when I think of other, like when you say like masculinity, it's about like defending yourself, like being the provider. Yeah. So
are you associating toxic masculinity with behavior towards women? Is that what you're saying, or?
And honestly, I think that's what it is. Yeah. I think that's how it kind of started. Because even where the term came from, a lot of people think it's from like feminists. They think like females just made it up. No, it actually came from a movement from men that were basically counteracting the feminist movement from the start.
The mythopoetic men.
Some shit.
Yeah, mythopoetic men.
Bullshit. Yes. But I think basically toxic masculinity, it's the it's not necessarily the traditional traits of masculinity, but it's the excessive I guess use of those traditional traits. So like aggression, for example, can be toxic, or dominance, like things like that are what would be considered as toxic.
Okay, so bullying, So what was the
things
question?
like bullying?
What was the question? Do I think bullying is toxic masculinity? Is it a trait of toxic masculinity?
I guess I'm saying like, is retaliation to bullying? Because like, okay, so we're going to talk about the Gillette commercial.
We're talking about the Gillette ad.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men.
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
In the Gillette ad, I saw like it was some boys like on the ground fighting or whatever, where he was being bullied. So it was kind of like portrayed as men step in, and it was like, you know, the kids were like being bullied or whatever, and like a man stepped in. And it's kind of like, that's cool, but at the same time, that boy has to learn how to, you know, take care of himself. And if he always has somebody there stepping in, he's never going to learn that. So when he gets older, he's going to be like, oh, somebody's going to solve this problem for me. And I don't think that's okay to really think.
I don't think that that's the message that they were trying to send, like by him stepping in. I think the message they were trying to send is like that you don't have to, in order to show your masculinity, like you don't have to fight him. Like my thing is like, why are we fighting in the first place?
Right.
To see who's the toughest. Who is the toughest? Like who's the more dominant? It's like y'all are trying to figure out like who's alpha and who's beta. And it's like there doesn't have to be an alpha and beta. Like I feel like if you're a man, like you have masculine traits. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm just like, it doesn't have to be like, if you like bullying, like yeah, that's definitely toxic masculinity. And like I said, like in the video or whatever, when he was pulling it apart, even when the other dad was running down the sidewalk, and like stopping that, I'm like, yeah, you need to learn to defend yourself, but like getting into a fight with another man, like I don't think that's the way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I almost feel like that in a way teaches them the wrong way, because then you feel like you have to fight, or you always have to be the best, or you have to be the top dog, and if you're not, you feel like you're not man enough, or you're not good enough, which I think in a way kind of puts pressure on y'all in a sense. And I think a lot of the pressure that men do feel in society, I almost feel like it's self-inflicted. Like, why do you feel the need to be the dominant one or be the one on top? Like, what do you have to prove when you do that? And then even the whole thing with fighting, and that's why the whole toxic masculinity thing became a thing. And then with dominance or aggression and things like that, those type of mentalities are what a lot of people think are related or kind of go into sexual assault and things like that, because the man wants to be dominant. So let's think about sexual assault. If a girl tells you no, but you're the dominant, you're the alpha man, if you're too aggressive, then you may attack her. So it's things like that. That's why I think the toxic masculinity comes in. So as far as like teaching your kids that, I mean, you should defend yourself and all that. You do need to learn how to protect yourself, but at the same time, teaching them that if they lose, or if they're not the top one, they're not the best, or they're not good enough, is not.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the right thing to do either. So going back to masculinity and more so to just add, I feel like men have a lot of like expectations in society. So I feel like if you were like, you know, more so closely associated to that alpha male, if you were watching those kids fight, then that would be something that you would do anyway, break up that fight. But at the end of the day, I do believe that it's necessary to talk to them and be like, look, like, you know, you need to, you know, be able to defend yourself, because like, what if I wasn't here, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's still a necessary skill that doesn't need to be eliminated. But I see what you're saying. But like, in the presence of like a man, if he is there, like, you know, that's something that's expected from him to break that up. And then like, that's something that's missing today in society, really, because like a lot of people, like, when you see fights, what do you see? There's a lot of dudes up there. And I just believe that that's like, that's not right. Like, that's not being an alpha male.
What you become if you got passion. I feel like Ali, but feel like I be where all the cash is. Never could reach the masses. Label said I'm too deep, then I told them people.